Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to say I personally do not have a max bard. I don't even have a bard. But I want to, I get this, I see this question all the time in chats, in every single event that keeps going by. Day one, how are people maxing out these event units, right? And I would like to explain the event before I do this. But this is, I've covered this in other videos, but for the purposes of explaining an event, I would like to explain this. So whenever the next event comes up, and inevitably day one, people keep asking, how did they max this card? I can reference back to this video. I can explain how the event works, and then I can explain how it happens. So this is the event. For right now, it's the Festival of Talents event, where the main prize is Bard. 2,000 points is currently what you need to buy it, and in order to get points, ignore the left side because you do not get any points from the left side. Originally, this used to end when there was a 500 point on the side, and then you could earn a couple of extra points. Currently, in its current state, with this event, starting with this event, presumably, and they're probably just going to carry it over because they make changes in between the original holiday event with the enchant sword, the Halloween event with the riding hood, the event with the genie, and then the spring event. Or the New Year's event with the genie, and then the spring event. They've changed it over the course of time, and in its current form, you actually have to get every single amount of points, the festival coins. You have to not spend them on either the magic crystal, the magic dust, or the gold. Definitely don't spend it on the gold. But you have to collect every ounce of your points, never spend them, and then when you get to the top and you get to this 500, that is when you will get enough points to get a bard. At which point, if you also bought the pass, which I want to say is $7 US, you will then also get a bard on the left side. So once you finally finish the entire thing, you will get 2 bards, right? The way that you get points for the event is by collecting cards. You have to, each of these are prescribed to points. Once you collect the entire set, you only get that amount of points when you complete the entire set. So if you get all of the common cards, you get 150 points, 450 for all the rare cards, and then all of the hero legendary cards, 1350 points. So all of those points are going towards this point count, and once you get to 6,300 points, that's when you get both things, right? How do you get points? Daily, you will get daily quests, and then you will get holiday weekly quests. Or I think these refresh. I don't know if they're weekly or if they're like every 3 days. It's just a longer period of time than daily. So you'll get a bunch of daily quests. You'll get a bunch of holiday quests. If you buy the pass, you will unlock more of these quests. So some of them, if you haven't bought the pass, they will be locked. And this is the only way you get cards. And so buying the pass will make completing the points portion of this much easier. But I will note that even if you complete all of the quests and do all of the things, it's still possible that you will not have enough points, at which point you will have to buy packs. I believe the exclusive card pack is the one to buy because you will automatically get a hero like 1 to 2 legendaries, and the 1 to 2 legendaries, like getting 1350 when you're just so close to the 6,300, like you'll be at like 5,500. You'll be in this like 5,000 area by the time you the event finishes. You'll be in like the 5,000 area, and getting an extra, 1350, that's all you need to get to the 6,300. Like once you get to the 5,300, all you need is a legendary collection, and then you're done. And so buying the $100 or the 100 gem packs to get the 1 to 2 legendaries is the way to go. And this is always why I say save like 500 gems specifically for this event, probably 1,000 gems. Because the other way to get the bard is through the music go round. This has had different names. It's called the carousel, the music go round. They have different names for it. It's the same thing. Essentially, when you get to 100 spins, you are automatically going to get a bard. And then when you're spinning it, you also have a percentage chance. I think it's a 2% chance. It's a very low chance, but you could also get a bard through this. The only way to get extra spins in the game is by completing the collections. I've already done it, but once you complete all of the collections once, you will get some amount of spins for completing all the unit cards, some amount of spins for completing all the monster cards, and then some amount of spins completing all the hero cards. It's pretty early in this event, and I have already gotten 33 spins. Just from playing the game, there's still 12 more days. I'm at 33 spins. Usually the way that this kind of plays out, assuming that you don't get this one, which is 3 extra spins, or it advances your count to 3. So when you spin, so if I were to get this right now, I would get my spin count would go from 33 to 34 because I spinned it, and then the plus 3 would make the 34 go to 37. Or you can get this one, and that's just an extra tick. And so if assuming that you don't get a lot of those, I am at 33 out of 100 spins. And we have 12 more days. Usually by the end of the event, I usually have around 50 spins. If you get really lucky with the 3s and the 1s, you could get to like 60 or 70 spins, but again, you will have to buy spins. And this is how people are maxing out Bard, because there is no cap on how many times you can hit 100 for the guaranteed Bard. And so it costs 1,000 gems for 50 spins. And so you can spend 2,000 gems and get a bard. And every 2,000 gems that you spend, you can get a bard. 2,000 or 1,000 gems, 2,000 gems, for one bard is the equivalent of $40. That can be mitigated by getting the $100 pack, because obviously with $40 in increments, the Cauldron of Crystals is the best value. I have never bought the $100 pack, so right now it is the absolute best value, because for $100 I could get 11,000 crystals. 11,000 crystals would get me 5 copies of Bard, because you would get it would half. So the it costs 1,000 gems for 50 spins, but you need 100 spins, so that would be 2,000. So 2 divided by 11, it would be 5. 5 times 2 is 10. I would have 1,000 gems left over. You could probably use those gems for the like I said, the other. For this, you could use the 1,000 gems probably for exclusive card packs. And so not only would you have 5 bards, you could then get 7 bards, because then you'd have this one and that one. You would exchange the 2,000 coins. You would get the bard from here. And essentially, for $100, I could right now get 7 bards. 7 bards is not enough. This is a tab, a list of how many copies of a card that you need. Obviously, this is discounting any crystals, because all you need are the copies. You can get crystals whenever you get crystals. But essentially, you need the initial 1, And then at 7, you need 1 card. At 8, you need 1 card. At 9, you need 2 cards, and so forth until 11. And then at 12, you need 3 cards. At 13, you need 3 cards. And then at 14, you need 3 cards to get it to 15. So essentially, you need 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You need 18 copies of a card in order to get it to 15. I, for $100 right now, could get it to 7. I could get it to 7. I could get 7 copies right now if I wanted to. And this is literally how people are doing it. Because, yes, like I said, there is no cap on this. You can just keep buying in increments of 1,000 or in increments of 1,000 gems, 50 spins, and you can just keep paying into this in order to get the other 8 copies. No, is it more than that? It's more than that. I just said that I could get 7 copies right now. Double that, 14. 4. I would need 11 more copies. After, even if I spent $100, I would still need 11 more copies. Assuming that I didn't want to use Book of Secrets, over the course of time, I would theoretically need 11 more copies. And obviously there are better ways of doing this. You could forego 3 copies, or you could forego 9 copies and use 2 months of Book of Secrets to mitigate all of the copies that you would need. And that would be $20 as opposed to, more than $20, $40 more, as opposed to $40. But yeah, there's a lot of math that would go into this in order to figure out the least nonsensical way of doing this. But essentially, yeah, that's how people are doing it. They're paying into 1,000 gems for 50 spins, and because there is no cap on this, you can just keep doing this for as long as you have money. With that being said, I will not be doing this. I will not be doing any of this. I think that Bard is just as good as a lot of other cards. And it's going to be reflected in my tier list whenever I create a tier list. And it's going to be something that I really, so part of me really wants to make a standalone video for it. But essentially, the way that I look at Bard right now, and I'm going to go into a couple of, not gameplay, but I took a couple of screenshots of pretty high ranking people, 6,000 crit with 75, or what's it called, with the level 20 Zeus. These are top people. I was going into the top players. This is a Bard versus Bard, which is the best kind of test. 75 billion damage. This is a 200 billion damage game. With our boy Fei Fan Fang, the top player in for months now, using a regular Riding Hood deck. I say regular Riding Hood deck. He has a level 20 Zeus. It's all maxed out. 6,000 crit. 200 billion damage against a Genie deck that also did 200 billion damage. This is this is a reasonable game. Aleppo, pretty high up there. I think you all know Aleppo, and if you don't, he streams a lot on YouTube. He has 5,700 crit. He has a level 20 Zeus. 101 billion against a Spirit Master, which is also in this game. This is a 152 billion damage game with a what's it called, a Bard versus a Riding Hood, and there's just there's a lot of people that have obviously maxed out Bard because you can, and because that is the current thing to do. People who have every card, this is technically the easiest way to max out a card. It's just spending 1,000 gems. It's spending 2,000 gems and getting a copy, and spending 2,000 gems and getting a copy. And I know what you're thinking. When I say this is the easiest way, You're like, oh, well, money makes this entire game easier. And you would be wrong. Because it is actually easier to max out a Bard than it is to max out a Hex. If you wanted to max out a card that is in the legendary pool of cards, and you wanted to buy 1,000 gems for the Archmage chest, you would get a random card of any of these cards. If you wanted to max out any of these cards, it would take you far longer and far more gems than trying to get 18 copies of a Bard right now. If you needed desperately 18 copies of Hex in order to max out your Hex, it would actually be more difficult to do this than it would be to get Bard. But yeah, that's pretty much my video. I feel like I think that there are so many good legendaries currently right now that are S tier legendaries, if you want to call it that. Between Riding Hood and Genie and Banshee and Bruiser and Monk and Bard, I feel like they're all kind of the same. I feel like there are some that may be better than others, obviously, because there has to be. Like if you have, the best of the best, and you decided to make a list of the best, obviously there is one that is the absolute best, and then there is one that is fifth, right? Like if I said, if you're an MCU kind of person, right? And I said like, rank these, these movies like Endgame, Infinity War, Captain America Civil War, Winter Soldier, and Iron Man 1, like rank these 5 movies, right? And you're an MCU fan. And you put like Infinity War first, Endgame second. You're going to get somebody that's like, oh no, Endgame is the best movie. Iron Man is the best movie. How could you rank that at, third? How could you rank, like, what if you put like Iron Man 5th or something? And you're like, no, like Civil War should be 5th. That was like the worst one of these 5, right? But like, you're not ranking like, what's it called? Like Edward Norton's Hulk in this, right? Like, all of these are the best of the best, and maybe there is a worst of the best, but that is still part of the best, right? And I feel that way about a lot of legendaries right now, including Bard. I don't think Bard is far and away better than everything else right now. It's not doing like the numbers that Spirit Master did where they had to immediately nerf it, which makes me believe I wanted to think that because this was in one of these events that it was going to go into events like the regular events, to go in with the likes of Robot and Spirit Master and Genie and Tesla and Minotaur. But there's a part of me that doesn't even think that it's really that great. Like, it's good, but I don't think it's on the level of those other cards. And there's a part of me that, because like when they first introduced events, it was with the holiday event with Enchant Sword. Enchant Sword was something that you could max out day one in with the wheel, right? If people wanted to do that, and it was very good, and everybody used it in every deck. But it's a regular legendary card. It didn't go into all of the events. There's a part of me that doesn't even think that this will become an event unit. I think that there are so many event units currently right now, and unless they're trying to make 3 event units and a hero in all of these, which would be absolutely insane, I don't think that Bard is good enough to be an event unit. Like these kinds of event units where you have to pay $10 for a copy, right? And if they do decide to do this, if they do decide to like put it into these events, 18 copies at the cost of $10 per each event becomes $1,800. It's almost more beneficial for you, if Rush Royale was like watching this, and they're like, oh my god, he's not promoting Bard. If this does go to events, and I don't know if it will, but if it does go to events and you choose to not get it now, it'll cost you like $1,800 later. Or you could get it for like $500 now. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this clears up how people are able to max out units in these events immediately. They were doing it yesterday. Like, it's crazy.